going to be butternut squash soup. So I had some squash in my fridge. I was looking around at some ingredients, and I also had a pomegranate. Let's get started on this recipe. To start with, I put about a half a cup of celery and about 2 tablespoons of onion in my sauce pot, and I'm going to put in about a half a cup of water, maybe a little bit more. I just want this to cook and get so soft that I can mash it up. While the celery and onion are cooking, I'm going to finish peeling the squash. You can see it's pretty tough to do, so just take your time and be careful. But that's the process I'm using. Now I want to make cubes of this squash, and I want them to be about a half an inch thick. Pretty soon I'm going to be getting into the bulb part of this that will have the seeds. So there you can see them. We'll be taking those out. Need to get the little stem end off, so I will be pushing the seeds out. Well, maybe I'll cut them out. I think it'll be easier to cut them out. I don't want the seeds in my soup whatsoever. Now I'll just cut this into half-inch pieces. You can see the process. Of course, I'll end up getting those seeds out of my soup. These pieces are much easier. So I'll finish cutting this up off camera and be right back. The squash is all cut, and out of that one squash, I got about 4 cups of squash. Celery and onion are very soft, and now I'm adding a can of full-fat coconut milk. I want to bring this up close to a boil. I want it to get hot, and then I'm going to add the squash. Now I want to blend up the celery and onion with the milk to make it smooth. Now add a teaspoon of ginger, stir it up, and your squash. This we're going to want to bring up to a boil, or almost a boil, and then put the lid on and simmer it until it's nice and tender. The squash is cooking. I'm going to toast a half a cup of coconut. This is going to be used as a garnish, so I'm putting it in my oven at 400 degrees, and I'll just keep checking it. It should be done in 5 to 10 minutes. Now, I tasted the soup. It's not finished cooking, and I think it needed a little more flavor, so I'm adding some of this. I'm tasting it again. That made it perfect. Some of you may want to add some salt, but that would be a personal preference. Watch your coconut while it's toasting, because it can get dark very, very quickly. I'm going to stop at this point. While the squash is still cooking, I'm going to get my pomegranate seeds ready. These are just also going to be a garnish. So I just cut it in half and pull out some of the seeds. You can see the motion that I'm using. And in the pomegranate, there's like little pockets of seeds. Cut it in half again to reveal some more of those little pockets of seeds. And I just look at how they're growing inside, and that helps me decide where I'm going to try to scrape some out. You can also peel back the skin and pull them off. There you have the gist of it, and I'm going to finish that off camera. I'm testing the soup for doneness now. It's cooked about 30 minutes, and I'm putting a knife inside the squash, and it goes in very easily, so it's done. I don't want the squash to turn into mush. I want it to still have a slight amount of texture when I'm serving it. So give it a little stir. It's time to plate this beautiful soup. Just sprinkle a few pomegranate seeds around the outer edge. And then take some coconut and sprinkle it in the center. Well, it's time to taste this soup online. I wanted to let you know that I'm serving it with a drop biscuit, and you could always put a great salad on the side. So as I get my little spoonful, I'm going to make sure that I get pomegranate seed, a piece of squash, and some of that delicious coconut. I love the pop of the pomegranate seeds, the crunchiness of the coconut, and the smoothness of the squash and that broth that the soup's in. I think you're going to like it. It's one of those soups that are perfect for the fall. Really warms your stomach up. Come and see us next week. And please like, subscribe, and share.